Welcome to the Soma Moon Wellness Podcast. Soma Moon Wellness is an online education and movement platform for women. This is a space for better conversations about women's health, honoring real bodies, real seasons of life, and sustainable ways of caring for yourself through movement and education. I'm Jeanetta Bodie, co-founder of Soma Moon Wellness and a pelvic health yoga therapist. Welcome to our corner of the wellness world. So today I have a very exciting guest who I haven't talked to in years. I thought as we were talking about pelvic health and yoga therapy that it might be fun to go down memory lane and talk about the very first person that ever believed in me.
Oh, Jeanetta. Oh, that's sweet.
Oh, welcome, Heather.
I am Heather Cannon. I live in Georgia. I have 4 kids and a wonderful husband. I met Jeanetta because I went through a very crazy time in my life after I had my 4th baby, but she was my only pregnancy and I had severe postpartum anxiety. A friend of mine said, there's this girl who teaches yoga and loves Jesus, and check, I'm in. And it changed my world. Changed my world, Jeanetta. I could cry.
I was actually thinking about the whole experience, and it goes to show the need and the desire for women helping women. There's something magical about you coming in. I remember I was like, who is this woman? I don't know who she is or what she wants, but I'm here for it. I love loving people, and it was pretty magical. I was thinking about the other day how postpartum depression looks different for everybody. I think depression is real no matter if it's going through menopause or going through postpartum. I will never forget. We're doing private sessions and it always looked different because
Yes.
what I have found is that most women come in with this, like, I don't know what I need. I need a break. I need a break is what I need. I need a moment to breathe. And I remember Remy
She screamed the entire lesson.
screamed the entire
And we put her in the bathroom.
I did. I remember I just felt this God moment of like, this woman needs rest. At all cost, you need rest. And so I remember setting you up in a restorative pose and
Yes.
being like, your only job, the only thing you're allowed to do for this next hour is ask me a question about whether something is comfortable or not. Like, you are not
Gosh, I
responsible
remember
for a
that.
single person. And so Remy was crying, and I put you in a pose, go to the bathroom and shut the doors, and just held her for a crying baby for an
Oh
hour.
my gosh. Yes, she screamed. And she wasn't a fussy baby, but that day she screamed for the whole time. I remember it. And I remember at the end, you were like, you did it. I think I was just at my wit's end. There was nothing left of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember talking to you on the phone. I had heart palpitations after
Mhm.
having Remy because of craziness and abruption. Just a lot of things happened with Remy's birth. And then I thought I was having a heart attack and ended up at the cardiologist. I remember him looking me in the eyes saying, you're going to be okay.
Mhm.
It's just heart palpitations. They're PVCs. They're going to go away. This is what we're going to do. And he said, I want you to do 3 things. I want you to drink this nightly tea. I want you to stop caffeine, which I really wasn't having a lot of caffeine because I was nursing. And would you consider doing yoga? And I was like, I would stand on my head for a year if this would stop. This just craziness in me would stop. And so I found you. I remember sitting in this chair in my den and nursing Remy and talking to you. And you were like, all right, let's do it. Let's do it. And I'll do whatever. I was nervous. I remember us doing privates for a little bit before we started classes because I didn't want to be a fool and not know what I was doing. Anyway, I went back to that doctor 3 months later and they were going to put me on this beta blocker. And then I was going to have to change nursing and all this kind of stuff. But we were giving my body 3 months to see what would happen. And he's like, they're gone. Your PVCs are gone. And he's like, what did you do? And I said, well, I drank the tea. I didn't have caffeine. And I went and started yoga. And he was like, yoga? He's like, you did it? He couldn't believe I'd listened. And I was like, you don't understand. I needed this to stop. And then I remember another time you said to me, this was closer to when you were about to move. And you said, I remember you coming into my class and during Shavasana, your feet the whole time, they just wiggled and wiggled and wiggled. And then you said, and you're at the point now that your feet don't move in Shavasana.
Yeah.
And I think that's profound to me because I did not know how to be still. I did not know how to let my body find grounding and just calm. My husband the other day, I took a really deep breath and he's like, what's wrong? And I was like, I'm just pausing. I think he thought I was upset. And I was like, no, no, no. It's just sometimes you just have to breathe it in and let it out and then reset. That's what I've learned is how to feel and hear what my body is saying and respond to it in an appropriate manner that doesn't make my autonomic nervous system go wonky.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Gosh, that's it. That is the thing that I wish every woman could hear. I, as a woman, hear this message a lot, which is be everything to everybody all the time and do more and be more and give more. And there's a breaking point. I look around the world and I look around my community and I see these women that are dying. And I see my own body. That was my story. I came to it postpartum because I was like, the women's health care is great for sick people, but it is not great for well people. And we got to do something because the well are dying. Like the well's drying up.
Yeah.
And that has been my heart for everyone. And it's such a hard message to hear because for me, it brought up feelings of I'm failing. Like if I can't do this, I'm not enough. I can't do it. I'm not enough. And so therefore I'm failing.
Right. Right. And saying no is not a bad thing. You know, being able to say no to things. I told you in our conversation before is I've taught swim lessons for 7 years, and this is going to be my first summer not teaching them. And there's freedom in the no. And there's freedom in the no for multiple reasons. One is it allows you an opportunity to do something else, even if that's being still, even if that's pausing and saying, you know what, I'm going to read a book or I'm going to learn something for myself. That's okay. And secondly, it allows somebody else whose desire it is to do that thing to step into your place. And if they don't, that is not your problem. That is not your job. Your job is to look around what the Lord has for you in this time at this moment. And there's a time for busyness and there's a time for stillness. Ecclesiastes talks about the polars of the time for this and the time for that, time for tears and time for joy. I think that we forget we don't have to have a full plate. I think we're told that if our plate isn't not only full, but we're holding on to the biscuit and the drink and the plate, then surely we are a failure. And that is the lie, lie, lie.
Yeah.
We've been taught. And I think as women, this is different for everybody, but I think we are built different than men are. We aren't,
100%.
we're supposed to be women. And that is where it is so important for us to realize that we are not built physiologically, physically, emotionally, spiritually. We are nothing like men. And that is what made us mothers and daughters and sisters. And I think that the compassion that we have and the tenderness we have allows us to play a role that we're never going to play being somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I agree. Part of the reason why I don't practice religion anymore is because I got all kinds of confusion. Who am I supposed to be? And if the church is saying this and society is saying this and culturally are saying this, I was just so confused. And so I had to step away from everything. And that's one of the reasons why I love yoga so much is that it doesn't believe you have a religion. It believes that you have a God and you have a choice. And what you do with that choice is your decision. It's your decision to look at your body and hear those messages and make a choice of this is what I hear, this is what I feel, this is what my own personal belief system is. And now I have agency to make a choice that's best for me. And without guilt, without shame, be well, be blessed, be good. I just think that understanding one, as a human being, you are the unique individual. Like there is no one else in the world like you. And so when you stop being you, when you start being something that somebody else told you to be, the world misses out. We miss
right.
out when there's not a Heather Cannon, or we miss out when I stop being Jeanetta. And it takes those moments of pause, like you were saying, of if I don't understand how to be grounded, how to take a breath, how to listen to my body. That's what we teach in our first chakras. That's what we teach in yoga. That's what you teach in your faith. And understanding you can be whoever you want to be. But if you don't listen and you don't take the time, you're going to become whoever anybody tells you to be. And
Right.
that's a quick way to burn out.
Yeah, it's a
And
dangerous, slippery
yeah.
slope. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Crazy.
part of most of my work with yoga therapy and the hormone system is understanding that we're not men. We don't have a 24-hour hormone cycle. And
Mm-hmm.
I have watched when I have tried to do my business like a man, when I have tried to do my workout routine like a man, and I am inevitably burning out. And
Oh,
so
yeah. We're not made that way.
no, that's what my program Empower Your Core is about, is understanding that you have a very unique hormone cycle which affects your somatic nervous system, which affects how we feel and what we sense. And so learning how to take that pause that you were saying and then layer on top of it nervous system practices, but also science and hormone awareness. What does it mean to be in luteal? What does it mean to go through menopause? What does it mean to
Right.
like to do all those things and respond in a way that feels like it's yours is the most important thing I can think of.
And if you don't believe that, have a hysterectomy, get your ovaries taken out.
Yeah. Did you do that?
And yeah, but it wasn't the plan. The plan
Yeah.
was just a hysterectomy because I had five fibroids. And I remember being like, I don't want you to take my ovaries. I don't want you to take my ovaries. And so
Yeah.
the whole plan was no to the ovaries. They were staying. And then when the doctor got in there, I guess I didn't know this, but I had horrific endometriosis, but I didn't have any sign of it. And it was everywhere. So he ended up having to take my ovaries, which was fine. Well, not fine. It was fine now. When I woke up from surgery, the first thing I said to my wonderful doctor, who I adore, is ovaries. And he goes, we're going to talk about that when you wake up fully. And then, they put you on Percocet and you're kind of crazy for a few days. Long story short, I cried at night begging for my ovaries back. When I would wake up from my sleep, I had to get adjusted to hormones,
Yeah.
and that was like crazy. So, a menopause at least is like a slow grow. You kind
Mhm.
of get used to a little bit less. This was like menopause in a day. Once I got regulated hormonally, great, I'm fine now. Fake hormones are really great. Menopause
Mhm.
is over. I told my friend this story, and this is what she bought me. This is a uterus with detachable ovaries.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
And this is what she gave me as a gift. How funny is that? So it goes with my Highland cows, my ovary. It was hilarious. And you can change out the faces of the ovaries. But I think that people who don't believe that hormones are affecting
Mhm.
even the way we age, I mean,
Yeah.
as our hormones go down, so does the collagen in our face, and we get wrinkles. And guess
Mhm.
what? Those are hard earned wrinkles. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, you can do the Botox and get a little bit of it gone, but you're going to age. But I think that's how we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be that way. I think it also is it fascinating how you can recognize, okay, this is where I am in my cycle, and this is why I
Mhm.
may not be in a good place for this, or this is where I'm in my cycle, and I'm in a really great place because I have a lot of energy. I feel good. And recognizing those things and acknowledging them is not a weakness. I think women consider being a woman weak, and it is not a weak thing. We are strong.
I think it's incredible the amount of resilience women are capable of. And I just think we have had the wrong definition of strength. And
Yeah, for sure.
I'm learning that immensely right now. I think my self-work and meditation practice has really been understanding what it means to fight as a woman. And it's not in your face screaming at you. It's
Hmm.
not going after the bad people. I think it's standing in truth of this is who I am. This is what I know. This is what I believe to be true, and I will live my life this way.
Yeah.
And I think giving people the freedom to voice that without the fear and shame of cancer culture. I've lost so many friends because I have
Mm,
said, this is what I believe now. This is who I am.
mm,
And what it did is exactly what you just said the no does. It has given me freedom. It's given me my time back. It's given me
hmm.
real relationships when I'm able to say, I don't like that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be around catty or hurtful or mean or,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's hard. But as we age, I think we get better or worse at it. I'm not sure which. You can pick your battle, right? Go get yourself a Highland cow and it'll be okay.
You've said what you've learned, and I think being able to say no and being able to rest is huge. What would you talk to women about now? What would you say to either a younger version of yourself or the version of yourself that's going through the hysterectomy that didn't have these skills, didn't have this awareness that yoga has brought you?
What I wish I had known, but I'm glad that I learned it postpartum was I was going to be okay.
Yeah.
I think that was something I didn't believe.
Yeah.
I didn't believe I was going to come back to me or even a better version of myself. I really felt so afraid and so completely lost and anxious and scared. And besides you, another good friend of ours, Suzanne, I would call her on the phone in tears and she would say, "It is going to be okay. You're going to be okay." And I remember thinking, am I? Am I really going to be okay? Are you sure? Because I don't feel like it. And sometimes I feel like I missed some things with Remy or my other kids. Like my kids love to say after Remy was born, "Oh, that's when mom was crazy." And it's true. I really was. But I look at it now and the way I can handle things, the way I can tackle hard things feels, I don't want to say more in control, but I'm not as afraid.
Yeah.
So that's one. And then I think older me, your life is not exactly how you're going to plan it out. Not everything gets tied up with a bow. Sometimes you have a stuffed uterus on your sofa instead of those lily pillows and stuff. That's okay because that's real life. And to tell somebody it's okay to ask for help. It's okay for somebody to come alongside you and tell you, "I'm here." And it's okay to not be everything to everyone all the time. And that's kind of where I am in my little dichotomy of life. And I think the other thing is it's okay to say what you don't know. I can remember being in yoga with you. I see Kayla all the time in the grocery store
Yeah.
and we laugh. I love her. And Jordan, I don't know what she's doing, but I just remember us with our babies. There's 4 or 5 of us that were just together and we'll always be like connected in some way. I remember you talking about our pelvic floor and you were like, "Okay, and then this, and then this," and you're explaining it. And I don't know if you remember the Friends episode where Jennifer Aniston is looking at the ultrasound of the baby that she's having, Rachel, on the show. And they're like, "Oh, and do you see the baby?" And she's like, "Yes, yes." And then the doctor leaves the room and she's like, "I don't see it." Okay. That's how I felt with pelvic floor health, is that you would say all these things and everybody's like, "Yes, yes, I totally get it." And I have no idea what she's talking about. And I feel nothing. I feel nothing. And I remember thinking that my pelvic floor, when you would say it raises and it falls with your breath, that it was lifting up into my throat and then was pressing down into the floor. So I felt like there was supposed to be these extreme movements, right? And then I remember the first time I felt even like a twinge of my pelvic floor. I was like, "That is what she's talking about." And it is like nothing. It's barely moving. It's not even really moving. And it was so funny because I felt like Rachel on Friends, which was like, "I don't know what she's talking about." It's okay to say you don't know. It's okay to say, "I don't know what the heck you're talking about," whether it be in pelvic floor health or in a doctor's office where you're like, "I don't know what you're saying to me. I don't get that." You don't have to know.
Yeah.
That's what they're there for. That's
That
what you're
is.
there for. It's just say, "Hey, okay, pause. Let's think about this. Let's sit on a block. Let's sit on a blanket. Let's tilt our pelvis. Let's see if we can find that." I just remember that so vividly and thinking, everybody here knows what's going on. And I'm over here. What are you talking about?
I can't tell you how many times I hear that. And when I'm in a class where somebody says, like, "I don't feel it," I'm like, "Yes, you're telling the truth."
Right. Because all the rest of you are just pretending.
There's about 16 muscles in your pelvic floor, and they are not the size of your hamstring. They are little. They're like palm, like little.
Oh, yeah. It's hilarious. So when I talk about pelvic floor and yoga, I'm just like, okay, I know none of y'all can feel this. So we're just going to pretend we can, and we're eventually going to find it. But for right now, we're just going to pretend. And they're just like, "Okay, good." Because that's a lot easier than actually trying to figure this out. But I feel like when you're breathing, it is doing it. And so anyway, that's kind of my joke, but it is real. I think that it's important for us to realize that we're supposed to come alongside each other. We're not supposed to do this by ourselves, and whatever it is. And whether it's with our friends, counselor, physical therapist, whatever, all of the things we're dealing with, physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, you got to reach out and find somebody that knows better than you. And you may know something better than them. And together you guys can figure it out.
Yeah.
So
I think that gives so much permission. I was on a call yesterday with a bunch of academia researcher, doctor people, and I was sitting there and I was like, I don't know who this is for, and I don't know what you're talking about, but it's not for me because I don't understand anything. And I'm an intelligent person, and I've been doing this for
Yes.
10 years. And so I feel like life is moving so fast. And
Hmm.
when you get into a doctor or when you're getting into a class, you're looking around and everybody's got their shit figured out, is what it looks like. And you're
Hmm.
like, I'm failing, I'm falling apart, I'm never going to be okay, and I don't understand anything. It's replaying those subconscious messages of not enough and not good enough. And I think exactly what you said is pause, time out. I'm going to be that kid in the class. I'm sorry, can you repeat that and explain it in layman terms? And
Right.
that's been my number one goal with pelvic health. My work is only as helpful as I can explain it to you.
Right. Yeah.
I know I'm smart. I don't need to prove it to you. I need to help you. That's my job, is to help you.
Right. But how can I bring it on your level?
Yeah.
Whether it be here, up here, where
Yep.
I've got to bring it up to
Hmm.
prove what you don't believe about me, or bring it down to where it makes sense to you. My mother-in-law loves to use crossword puzzles,
Hmm.
and she loves to use big words because of that. She just loves words. And she'll say something and she'll say it in context. So I kind of understand what she's saying. I mean, I'm not an idiot, but sometimes she uses words I've never heard before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what does that mean? And the first time I did it, it caught her off guard. Well, that means this. And she's like, you've always been willing to ask me. And I was like, well, because I'm not going to figure out what the word is. And then I'm going to use it to try to sound smart and use it wrong and be that dork. So I think it's important.
Yeah.
Ask what this stupid word means. Who cares? If
Yeah.
somebody doesn't like you because of that, well, that's between them and the
That,
Lord, not me.
Heather, I have missed you.
Oh, I
I
don't
have
know.
always admired your willingness to show up fully, completely yourself. Like unashamed, unabashed, just like this
You're
is where
so
I am and who I am, and it's okay.
People say that to me a lot, and I'm really kind of wondering, like, sometimes I'm not sure that's a good thing. I'm trying to create some content, if you will, on
Yeah.
social media. I hate it. I hate doing
Yep.
content stuff. But I think sometimes people take things to this intellectual place, and
Yes.
sometimes we all just need the basics. Anyway, and I feel very much like an imposter on this thing and stuff. And today I videotaped something for the first time, and I was in a sweatsuit with no makeup, my hair pulled back in a ponytail. I'd showered last night, and I don't think I'd even brushed my teeth. And I'm in front of this camera, and I did this video, and it was really actually kind of good. And then I went and put makeup on and brushed my hair and brushed my teeth and did all these things. And I did another video, and that's the one I posted. And I really felt like I really should have just posted the one with my hair in a ponytail,
Mhm.
because I think that's who people know me as. We'll just put this out there. So we'll see. Maybe I'll put the other one. But I think that's funny you said that.
I think it's the boldness and the energy and the willingness to be a beginner. I've always admired your willingness to show up and be present with yourself in it and laugh at yourself. I might look like I do that. It's taken me a long, long time to not take myself so seriously.
Mhm.
And that comes into like just not being afraid. Like the fear is still going to be there, whether I
Yeah.
do it or not.
Yeah. I just regret later. You can regret before, I'll regret later.
Yes, I have learned to edit myself a little bit better and be like, let me think about this before I put it out into the world. Let me say
Yeah.
that. True.
I love it. I love it. Janetta, you come up in conversation at least weekly on my postpartum journey and just watching women struggle through things. And you took time for me. And that was really important, especially in a really, really dark time, a really scary time. And to be loved
Thank you for
or
saying
better.
such things.
Well, I mean them. So anyway, that's my
Thank you.
story.
It's pretty amazing. It has been an honor to be a part of. So
Well,
thank
thank
you very
you.
much.
You bet. You bet.
All right, y'all. Thanks for spending time with us today. If this conversation supported you, you can explore movement classes, education, and our resources at somamoonwellness.com. You can also see this blog posted on our Substack. Our work is created to meet you exactly where you are right now. Take what's useful, leave the rest, and care for yourself in a way that honors your whole self. Be loved, be well, be blessed. Namaste.